If you're wondering whether or not you're a good candidate for brain rewiring, then this video is for you because I'm going to talk about the 3 signs you may want to consider brain retraining. I'm Hanna. I'm a Christian brain retraining coach helping people get relief from their food and environmental sensitivities with neuroplasticity. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we post a new video each and every Tuesday. Okay, so sign number 1 that you may want to consider brain retraining is that you're sensitive to all kinds of things in the environment. So you get symptoms maybe after eating certain foods, sometimes even whole foods like vegetables or fruits. Maybe it's fatigue, bloating, or whatever it is. So you may also get symptoms after being in certain buildings, maybe buildings that have higher levels of mold or mycotoxins, those older buildings. You may also be sensitive to chemicals such as perfume, lotion, candles, or cleaning supplies. Some people are even sensitive to high levels of Wi-Fi or EMF, and the symptoms vary greatly. So some people have neurological types of symptoms such as brain fog, anxiety, and others may have like physical pain, fatigue, or digestive issues. So if this sounds like you, then you're likely a great candidate for brain rewiring. And here's the hope. The problem isn't necessarily the things in the environment, even though it seems like it in the moment. The root cause of typically why you're reacting is an impaired limbic system, which is the part that's responsible for that fight, flight, or freeze response. So once you balance your limbic system with brain rewiring, you'll be able to tolerate the foods and the things in the environment like you once used to be able to, or like your family members can. Number 2 is that you feel like you're on an emotional roller coaster, right? One day you're joyful, you're happy, and you're able to function really well, whether that's going out for a walk or going to the mall. And then the next day or even later in that day, it can even fluctuate from moment to moment, right? So even later in that day, you have all the kinds of symptoms, you're down, and you just feel like a low mood on top of that, lack of motivation, and it seems like your thoughts are kind of maybe all over the place, and they're kind of out of control for no reason. This occurs when someone has a really stressed out limbic system, and it doesn't necessarily matter what the stressors were, whether it was mold, an infection, an emotional trauma, stress at work, whatever. People who have chronic symptoms that are up and down, affecting many different body systems, all these different kinds of symptoms, have a stress response going on inside of their body, and in my opinion, should be addressed with brain rewiring. But when you calm the stress response and you become more resilient, then you're able to bounce back and you're in this state of homeostasis where your mood is stable. The good news is that if you feel like you're in an emotional roller coaster, whether you're on the couch in a depressed mood or you're quick to lash out in anger towards others, or you feel like your thoughts are literally like out of control all over the place, you have these intrusive thoughts, you can get out of it with consistent brain retraining. Number 3, you have multiple chronic symptoms in different body systems that you haven't been able to get relief from. So when I got sick, I had a perfect storm of stressors. I was working overnight as a labor nurse, super stressful. I was living in a moldy old home along with some other emotional stressors at that time. And I got hit with over a dozen symptoms, and it seemed like it was basically overnight. And then, I rode that struggle bus for a while. I went to dozens of doctors seeking answers. Then all of a sudden, these doctors or whatever, I was told that I had all these infections, and that's what was causing it. The heavy metals, the Lyme, the mold, and parasites. I was like, wait, I was healthy like a week ago, and now all of a sudden I have all these infections and parasites. I don't know. Just didn't quite make sense to me. I'm not saying those things are wrong and those things aren't present, but I think it's more like my body's response to those things, because some of those toxicities and infections, let's be real, have probably been there long term. And so, of course, I went and I chased those toxicities and infections with supplements, and some of them helped. They can definitely certainly help. I'm not saying they can't, but for me it was just a band-aid. I really had to get to the root, which was balancing my limbic system in order to get rid of the symptoms that basically plagued my whole body. It seemed like I had symptoms all over in every organ and system you can think of. Brain symptoms, gut symptoms, bladder symptoms, you name it, I think you get it. And I know many of you watching this right now can probably relate. So if you have multiple symptoms that seem unrelated, this can be a limbic system issue. So it's related to that chronic fight, flight, or freeze stress response that is occurring in your brain and the limbic system. And this occurs because of an accumulation of stressors throughout life, that perfect storm. Your toxin bucket is overflowed. And so if you have a mold illness diagnosis, it's really likely not the only thing going on. And, I made the mistake of chasing protocols for years with supplements, diets, and labs to find out that I needed to address my limbic system. And so in summary, if you have multiple random symptoms all over that come and go, get better or worse, and it seems like for no reason really, and maybe they get worse around stress, or maybe you have fatigue one day and not so bad the next, then you may want to consider retraining the limbic system, which is initiating that chronic stress response, causing that cortisol, adrenaline, and norepinephrine, those stress hormones, to flow throughout your body in high amounts, leading and contributing to those symptoms. So that's it for today. I hope that helped. If you're interested in learning more, watch our free 60-minute masterclass. The link is below, where we talk about a natural 3-step system that can help provide relief from environmental and food sensitivities and really any chronic symptoms in as little as 8 weeks. The link for that's below. We also have a free Facebook group. It's called Brain Rewiring for Health and Happiness, where we share free tips every single day. The link for that's also below. Godspeed and God bless.